I'm definitely looking forward to this game. Like everything about the extraction shooter elements, again, something that I've not typically been into, but everything that they described really gave me, it answered a lot of the questions that I had. Because to be honest, the thing about extraction shooters that I've never really cared for was this idea that, okay, you drop in, you get loot, but like nothing's permanent. Like from game to game, I've never felt that sense of progression that I typically like in a lot of the games that I play. And from what they've described with Marathon, we're getting a lot of that. And again, I could be totally wrong. That could be how extraction shooters work in general, but it's never been marketed or portrayed in the way that Bungie has portrayed it today. This idea that, you know, you're dropping in, you have these contracts from these different factions, you're working on these objectives, you're trying to get in there, find loot, find upgrades, you know, you're going in, completing objectives. You're extracting, you're taking all of those things away, but you're also coming away with progression on your characters, on your builds, right? You're seeing that improvement that improves you as you continue to jump back in and, you know, explore and look for items and this and the third. Maybe, you know, facing some of the NPCs from the UESC, facing down higher skilled players, like all of those kinds of things. That level of progression for me sounds awesome. We didn't really get a chance to see anything when it comes to Endgame, but Endgame is something that was referenced. There is ranked play, and there's also going to be some kind of seasonal storytelling. So season 1 is going to kick off September 23rd. Again, the level of progression I think is enough for me to invest into something like this. That's got me intrigued because all of the other aspects, the gameplay, the weapons, the customization of not just your characters, but the guns themselves have attachments and different abilities. You know, in terms of abilities, like there's different classes, like they said, you know, they come at a base with abilities and whatnot, but you can find things in the world, upgrade those abilities. And all of these things come together to form an extraction shooter that I think is going to appeal to a wider player base. And honestly, I think, you know, a lot of the speculation about whether or not Bungie could pull off an extraction shooter or whether or not, you know, people are going to be interested in it, I think today speaks to that. I think today shows you that players are interested. People are intrigued. And there's just something about Bungie's formula. There's just something about it that they just add this extra sauce on top of their games, you know, from the art style to the world building, you know, the lore, the story, and just the gameplay. All of those things that we got to see today, they just kind of come together to give you this experience that not a lot of the other games, you know, do well or do as well as Bungie does, you know. So I'm looking forward to it. We're going to sign up for the alpha. They said the alpha, it's a closed alpha. That's going to kick off April 23rd. And then we get Marathon September 23rd. We're going to be jumping in, chat. 100%. But I enjoyed it. Blackbird is going to be my main, the one that's getting cooked right now in the B-roll in the background. But Blackbird is going to be my main because any of these games, any type of game like this, I love being recon. We've got Void, who's kind of like the stealth hunter type. Locust, I believe, is the Titan with the shield wall. And then we've got Glitch, who is more of like the agile character. They did mention there's going to be 4 playable runners in the alpha and 6 at launch. So there's still 2 more that we haven't seen yet. But yeah, some of the stuff that we didn't really get to see today is a lot of the story stuff. We did get a CG trailer at the end that kind of gives you some hints, some of the story and the mystery of this world. Apparently there's some event that happened where the 30,000 people on Tau Ceti, this planet that we're on, they just up and vanished. Something happened. And in that CG trailer, you kind of see hints of what happened. And then towards the end, you see the runners get created, born, and then they just start scavenging this planet. Why that is, what they're looking for, what's the goal, what the story is, the mystery, we don't know. We'll have to find out. And that's going to be part of the seasonal storytelling that's going to unfold. In what way? We don't know. Maybe we'll find out closer to launch. But yeah, dude, I really enjoyed what we got to see today. And I'm excited. Hopefully we get into the creator program so we can get our hands on some keys. Hopefully we get into the alpha so we can play it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to anything else that Bungie's got cooking up for Marathon coming up. For the folks who watched, I mean, how do you feel? Me personally, they answered a lot of questions that I had about the extraction shooter stuff, the customization, the world, all of that stuff, even the story stuff, even though they didn't answer those questions, like the idea of a story in this game has me intrigued. They're hitting all the buckets of interest, which is kind of what Bungie does well. They tend to hit these buckets of interest, right? Where players can latch on to certain things within their games. You could say the same thing about Destiny. Like some players like stories, some players like just going into patrol. Some players like strike, some players like PvP, some players like raids, dungeons. Like there's all different elements for players to get attached to. Bungie does a really good job of that. And I think they're doing that in Marathon. I think they're introducing all of these different layers to their game for players to attach themselves to latch onto. Whether it's the narrative, whether it's the idea of loot, whether it's the thrill of PvP. We got to wait and see what it feels like in motion, right? When we get our hands on it and we play. But looking at what we've seen, it feels like even just a regular match, just dropping in. You can jump in, like they said, you can jump in, get some quick loot, get out just for the money. You can do that. You can jump in, go a little bit deeper, hunt down, these bosses in the map, going for higher tier loot. You can seek out engagements. Maybe you just want to get in there just to take out teams, right? Whatever your factions maybe task you with. And then outside of that, just the PvP, the PvE element, the loot chase. Then there's a mystery. There's a story in the world, right? The environmental storytelling is going to play a big part in this game. The environments look insane. Like I know for me, I'm just going to be looking around the world trying to find secrets. Like Scarrow mentioned in the creator section, like there's secrets in this world that when players find them, they're going to, it's going to blow their minds. And I'm interested to find secrets in this world. So there's so many layers that it seems that Marathon's going to have. There's going to be enough, no matter what type of player you are, there's going to be enough for you to latch onto and, really like dig it, sink your teeth into, even looking at some of the gameplay elements like the pacing, the time to kill, all of these things that we got to see today look pretty good. Like it doesn't look like the time to kill is too quick. It looks like it's pretty fair right now. Obviously, they're going to continue to balance. We have an alpha coming out, but just the gunplay, the abilities, all of this stuff looks good. It looks like it's ready to ship today. So I'm curious to see from what we're watching now to launch, like what's probably going to change. Is the menus going to change? Anything? Like what's the possibilities? What's on the table to still change before launch? Because honestly, what we see right now, I'd play this today. I would play this today. They could launch right now and I'll play this. But it's going to be interesting to see, over the coming months until September 23rd. It's going to be interesting to see how things progress, how many alphas, betas Bungie puts out, until launch. I mean, there's going to be customization too, right? When it comes to the guns, the barrels, the scopes, the stocks, probably. Like, I don't know how in depth it's going to go, but from the sound of it, it sounds like guns are going to have their own progression as well, their own level of customization. So you'll be able to customize the build of your characters, upgrade your kits, your abilities, and you'll also be able to do the same with your weapons. You'll be able to upgrade your weapons probably visually, in terms of probably abilities, stats, your scopes, your stocks, like I said, your barrels. So the level of customization is going to be there as well, which is another incentive to drop in and get some loot, and it's permanent progression across, the matches, it seems. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that element too. Yeah, absolutely.